Have you ever wondered what it would feel like if you could read minds, not in the literal sense, but to see people, really see them, to understand what they're thinking before they even say a word? It starts with a shift, a fundamental rewiring in how you perceive others. The first rule: stop focusing on what people say. Words are just tools, bullets from a gun, strokes from a pen. They serve a purpose, but only the sender knows what that purpose is. Sometimes it's to share information, but more often, it's influence. It could be influence with mutual benefit, a win-win. A girl seduces a boy and they fall into a fulfilling relationship. Two friends decide to build a business together and they both get rich. But sometimes it's not mutual. Sometimes it's a zero-sum game. Their gain, your loss. And that's where manipulation begins. To solve this puzzle, you need to recognize the moving parts. What are they saying? What is their body doing while they say it? What do you already know about their personality from your past experience with them? And most importantly, is what they're saying now consistent with what they've said before? Analyze these elements like a supercomputer. Are the numbers adding up, or do you smell a rat? And if you smell something's off, always trust your instinct. No matter how calmly they speak, no matter how sincerely they smile, no matter how much they insist they're being honest, no matter how guilty they try to make you feel for doubting them. Trust your gut, not their words. Because once you've been burned enough times, you realize something. Your instinct is your final line of defense. Always trust it. Now here's the part most people won't say out loud. Spy on people. I'm not joking. If you hear people arguing in the hallway, don't walk away. But don't stand there staring like an idiot either. Be clever. Act distracted. Pretend you're digging in your bag like you're searching for something. Move slow. Look nonchalant. While your body fumbles, let your ears laser in. Even better, listen from behind a wall. Why is this important? Because people wear different masks around different people. How someone acts toward you is just what they want you to believe. But to know who they really are, you listen when they don't suspect you're listening. And don't let others catch on that you're watching. If your classmates or coworkers realize how observant you are, they'll start guarding themselves. They'll adjust their behavior, and it will be harder to deceive them later on. The more you spy on people, the sharper your radar becomes. Soon, you'll hear a sentence and know what's coming next. You'll sense betrayal before it happens. You'll stop being surprised by people because you'll always be 3 steps ahead. And when you're 3 steps ahead, you can influence, you can manipulate, you can control. Be the observer, not the observed. Some people wear their thoughts like neon signs, always talking, always performing, unable to keep anything inside. They're easy, predictable. But then there are others, the quiet ones, reserved, emotionally distant, vaults. Nothing leaks, nothing obvious. And then there are the sharks, like you, calculating, masked, silent manipulators hiding in plain sight. To deal with any of them, you need a skill most people never develop: the art of subtle provocation. Not confrontation, not interrogation, subtle provocation. Mastering it is like learning emotional judo, using their own psychology against them without triggering their defense systems. It's not about extraction, it's about invitation, about coaxing the lock until it clicks open on its own. You don't force vaults open, you find the combination, and you disguise it as a whisper. Start with the flawed confession. You say something that sounds a little off, vulnerable, slightly cynical. Honestly, I think most kindness is just strategic debt collecting, but maybe I'm too cynical. What happens next is almost inevitable. The quiet type, the observer, can't help themselves. They break the silence to correct you, to refine your view, not because they care, but because it gives them control. And in doing so, they reveal how they really think, but not aimed at them. Aim it at a third party. That guy over there seems furious, but my guess, he's terrified people will see how insecure he really is. What you've just done is bait them into revealing their own emotional landscape. Their subconscious takes over, and without knowing it, they react. A glance, a nod, a sudden stillness. You weren't talking about them, but you were. Or pose a riddle, something abstract, ambiguous. Is it braver to scream your truth, or to bury it so deep no one can ever use it against you? The beauty of the question is that there's no right answer, no direct risk. Their guard drops, just a little, and in that moment, they speak not to impress but to explore. And that is where truth leaks through. Another tactic: selective vulnerability. Share something real, then pivot. I froze during my presentation today. Felt like everyone could see through me. You ever had that? Reciprocity is wired into the human brain. Their answer will reflect the emotional depth you just showed them. Mirror neurons fire, and walls begin to crack. And then, the simplest weapon: silence. They give a shallow answer? Say nothing. Maintain relaxed eye contact. Count to 7 in your mind. No expression, no rescue, just the quiet. Most people can't tolerate extended silence, especially the ones who usually control it. They'll fill the void, and when they do, they overshare. Here's the critical part. Never ask direct questions. Frame everything as an observation. Anchor what you say to the environment. This rain feels like the city's crying over secrets. Abstract language disarms logic. It invites metaphor, symbol, subtext. And if they speak softly, you speak softer. Mirror their rhythm, mirror their vibe. Make the air feel familiar, unthreatening. And most of all, kill your ego. Never try to win the conversation. Let them feel like they're unraveling you. Let them believe they're in control. Because the moment they believe that, you are. Understand this. Controlled people reveal themselves only under 3 conditions. First, they believe they're observing you. Second, they feel intellectually flattered, like they're solving a puzzle. And third, they feel zero pressure to perform. They're not on trial. They're just thinking out loud. That's where you want them. And that's the difference between amateurs and strategists. Amateurs force it. Strategists wait. They set the frame, then let the subject step into it, willingly. Your job isn't to extract secrets. It's to make them want to give you the key. Because the greatest form of power is not breaking down a locked door. It's standing still while they hand you the key themselves.